Hey, Mikey. Is it, maybe comfortable for you coming into this camp skating with Matt Roy, a guy who you got to play some games with in the NHL at the end of last year?
Yeah, obviously that helps a lot. Kind of coming in, being familiar with the way he plays. He was familiar with me a little bit from the last end of the year there. So coming in for sure, it's more comfortable. Kind of being able to talk over different situations with him. It's a little less nerve-wracking maybe than it was last year.
How big were those 6 games that you got to play at the end of last year? Coming into what's expecting to be a full NHL season, to have those games under your belt already.
Yeah, I thought it was huge for me. I was fortunate to get the chance to play a couple games. Like you said, Maddie helped me a lot last year, kind of coming in and feeling comfortable right from the start. And coming in the camp this year, being around the guys for the 6 games and a couple weeks I was up last year, it made coming back this year a lot more comfortable. A lot easier to kind of transition and get camp rolling.
Thanks, Mikey.
Okay, next up, Daryl Evans. Oh, looks like we lost Daryl. John Hoven.
Hey, Mikey, welcome back. Just a little bit about your preparation. So much is made about how you've had that pro mindset, even going back to your college days. If you could just talk about maybe what you did and how you approached this season, but what you did during the offseason, especially during such an extended break that you had there.
Yeah, I think, like a lot of other younger guys like myself, the long off season is something we're probably never going to see again. So kind of being underdeveloped the last couple of years, I took a big lead on trying to get in the weight room and put on some extra weight, put on some muscle, get a little faster, get stronger. And, having the success we had at the end of last year, trying to, come in with the mindset that I wanted that spot out of camp again. So, trying to push hard in the weight room, put on the extra weight, feel good on the ice, and kind of come in ready to go.
Does this situation with the 56-game season almost play out perfectly for you? Coming in as a college player, you hear about guys that, maybe run out of gas at the end of the season, but you had a shortened year last year, and then this year it'll be an abbreviated schedule. Is this almost a perfect scenario for you coming in your first couple years as a professional?
I mean, yeah, it kind of helps being, somewhat comfortable with the amount of games and kind of the schedule and the way things work. But at the same time, it's, this league's not like any other league. You're playing against the best players from the world, every night, every day in practice. So it's obviously still a different scenario, kind of, day to day is a little bit different than the college lifestyle and even back to junior. But game wise, yeah, I mean, it's a similar schedule, which can help. But at the same time, it's going to be harder kind of day in and day out versus what college is.
And the last one would be, and sorry to bring up a sore subject, but would be the big game tonight, U.S. Finland, and I would imagine that it still stirs up some memories from Vancouver for you.
Yeah, obviously, not the result we wanted. Still looking back, it stings a little. We were fortunate enough to come home with the medal, which is what you go in there with the mindset of. But yeah, it should be a fun one tonight, and hopefully U.S. can come out on top.
Thanks, Mikey. Talk to you soon.
All right, go back to Daryl Evans.
Hi, Mikey. Taking a look at the way the schedule is set up this year, playing against just a set group of teams so many times, do you think that benefits a player like yourself? That way you can learn some of the individual habits and tendencies from game to game and apply them as you move forward playing the teams?
Yeah, I think for sure it does. Being more of a defensive-minded player, you can kind of learn, like you said, the different tendencies from the offensive guys, kind of, know what they're trying to do or what they, prefer to do versus other plays. So, try and study it. You can feel it without the game or throughout the games and playing the same teams over and over again. Not much is going to change throughout the year for the set player. So you can kind of learn the tendencies and the way the teams are trying to play.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, Nick Nixon.
Yeah, hi, Mikey. Evaluate your first year as a pro, how the transition went, you felt, and what did you learn?
Yeah, I think, looking back on last season, the biggest adjustment kind of coming to pro was, finding different ways of kind of filling my day away from the rink. Going back to college, you got class throughout the day, you get homework, you got other stuff to do, you got, roommates and teammates that are all living together. Here you leave the rink and you kind of got nothing else to do the rest of the day. So it's trying to find ways to, not only get out and kind of keep your mind going, but just try and avoid, sitting on the couch all day watching TV and finding ways to kind of fill the free time. I lived with Blake Lazat last year and we like to cook a lot. So we were always kind of going out, getting different foods, kind of eating up some time that way by, learning how to cook different stuff. And instead of ordering out every night, it kills a day trying to figure out what you want to cook and make for the night.
And a follow-up, were you awestruck at all when you first played in the American League last year? And then were you awestruck at all when you played your first NHL games?
Yeah, I think you get a little bit of it. Obviously your first pro game, you get the jitters. I have never, played at a level like that before. So you're trying to kind of figure that out on the run. Especially last year with how young we were in Ontario. We're all kind of jumping into the fire together. And then, when you play your first game, you're out there against guys you grow up watching. You're playing with, Kopi and Dewey and guys you play with on fantasy hockey and stuff like that. So now all of a sudden, you're a little starstruck with all of them. Kind of getting comfortable though when you get a couple games in, you sit with them in the locker room, you learn about them a little bit and you relax a bit, and then it's just another hockey game.
And finally, the 6-game experience you had with the Kings last year, you analyzed that. Where do you want to build on from that experience? Are there certain areas that you say, okay, I've got to do this better?
Yeah, I think, when you look at them, you can, get better in kind of every situation and category. The big thing for me that I noticed was maybe the half second, you get in the AHL to make a play, you come to the NHL and that half second is gone where you got to make the play a little quicker. So, especially for me in the way I play the game, I'd like to, improve that, being able to make, more clean plays consistently and, be a strong defender and kind of just take everything from there.
Thanks.
Okay, next up, Dan Matsuda.
Hey, Mikey, following up Nick's question about evaluating your game, once you came up to Kings, what did you feel at parts of your game that worked well for you when you were up with the Kings?
Yeah, I thought, the 6 games at the end of the year, I thought me and Maddie did a good job defending together. Obviously he's a really good player and, very steady and, kind of reliable, knowing what he's going to do game in and game out. But I thought the two of us together, we did a good job defending, playing against some of the top players from around the league. So, looking at that was a big key for me. And kind of watching some of those games with Sean O'Donnell and some of the coaches here was kind of looking at that and kind of trying to build off of the 6 games we had at the end of last year.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is Jack Harris.
Hey, Mikey, in your time around Drew, what are the things that you've learned from him? What do you just enjoy most about, getting able to share a locker room with a guy like that?
Yeah, I think for starters, it's fun to kind of see the way he approaches the game. Obviously, he's super talented, has all the skill, but I think he thinks the game super well. He makes little reads that probably go unnoticed to a lot of people, but if you kind of sit back and then you study him and watch his, different stick placements, how quick he can make a play and read a breakout coming at him, it's pretty spectacular. And kind of just how loose he is, around the rink. He tries to keep things light, but at the same time, he knows when it's time to dial it in and stay serious. So, he's a good guy to kind of, look after, being able to learn from him. And, day in and day out, he does the work. He studies the game and, he communicates a lot, which is a big thing for a young guy like me.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, next up, Jim Fox.
Yeah, Mikey, I'm just, I'm wondering, seeing you communicate over the last couple of, a year or so, have you ever taken any formal classes in communicating or speaking, public speaking, that type of stuff?
Not that I can think of. I had an interpersonal communications class in college, but we didn't do much public speaking in that. It was more kind of based around just communication, around the world.
And if I can just follow up there, when you hear people talk about your leadership skills at such an early age, young age, kind of how does that make you feel?
Yeah, obviously it's it's very humbling to hear those things. Just like and we talked about it last year. It's kind of just trying to come to the rink and be myself, especially being in a new setting. Not having been around a lot of the guys, from the Kings last year, besides those 2 weeks at the end of the year. It's trying not to change anything from who I normally am. Obviously, I'm not a big, talker in the room. I'm more in like one-on-one conversations, not the center of the locker room, but try and just be who I am and take it from there and learn from all the older guys that have been here, have won, Stanley Cups before, and kind of take it all in and see what they do on a day-to-day basis.
Thank you.
All right. Back to Zach Dooley.
Hey, Mike, you just had one more for you. The Kings added Olimata in the offseason. What have you seen from him in this limited time, and what has he been like to get to know in the locker room so far?
Yeah, he's been awesome so far. Obviously, his track record kind of speaks for himself. He's very experienced, and like a lot of the other older guys in the room, he's done a lot with the game already. But coming in, he seems kind of like Drew, where he thinks the game super well, very steady, makes a lot of really smart plays that probably not a lot of guys watching the game will notice. But I try to pick him out. But off the ice, he's jumped right in, kind of pitching in little things to work on here and there, and maybe a different way to defend, or a different mindset of a skill to work on. But he kind of gives a different perspective. But kind of coming in and not knowing him at all, he's jumped right in, and he's been a great guy so far to learn from.
Thanks, Mikey.
All right, and we're going to finish things up here with another one from Nick Nixon.
Yeah, Mikey, just curious, last year in Manchester, who did you play with as a partner most of the season?
Kind of throughout the year it rotated. I played a lot with Cal Clegg, played with Dursey for a little bit. I'd probably say those were my main two. Austin Strand a little bit, but mainly Clegger and Durs.
And did you play the left side pretty much the whole time?
Yeah. Whenever I was with Dursey, I was on left, and with Clegger, he was always on the right.
Thanks.
And we actually got one more from Lisa Dillman here, and this will be it.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
How have you seen Sean's game improve, say, in the past year, since you played with him last year to this point now?
Dursey?
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously he's a very skilled player. I didn't know him at all until coming in the last year. So kind of, seeing him out of the blue, he thinks the game very offensively, makes a lot of reads in the offensive zone, kind of throughout the neutral zone that, not everyone can see and make. He's a fun guy to kind of play with in that fact, because, he wants the puck. So it's easier, you get him the puck and, he's going to make a play with it. And, the one thing that he's always kind of joked about needing to work on was more of his defensive side of the game. But coming back into camp this year, he looks a lot more steady back there, shutting down more plays, being in the right position more often, while still being able to make the offensive plays. So, he's trending in the right way, and, he's a great player, and it's exciting to, kind of see where he can go.
Thank you.